Proud of Stanley, very proud. He's a man's man and he's a man's made man. Made it all himself the hard way too, because that's no one to help him but himself.
What was it like growing up with Stanley? Well, what was it like growing up with Stanley? I can remember an incident when I almost got myself murdered because Stanley used to build these planes with very thin balsa wood struts. After the plane was built, he would take very thin tissue paper and carefully cover it. This took hours and weeks and months, and he would keep them in his room. And I wanted to see what was going on in the room, so I would go into the room, and one day I went into the room, and he had this beautiful plane sitting on the chair, and I didn't realize it, and I went and sat on it, and I think he almost killed me that day.
But one of the things I remember most is the time that Rudy, Stanley, and I played pinochle. These were the times when all of the basic instincts came out. All the yelling and screaming and carrying on, all for, I want you to know, 5 cents, 10 cents, and 15 cents. And we would spend hours yelling and screaming at each other. And believe it or not, these times were some of the most memorable times because everyone really reached into themselves and displayed their really base emotions, and we all really had one hell of a great time, winning or losing a $50. And that's one of the great things I remember.
Knowing and growing up with Stanley was like living with someone that could do everything and anything perfectly. Except that I remember once I wanted popcorn. So I asked my brother to make me popcorn. And he made it on the stove in the kitchen. And it exploded in his face, and I thought I had killed him. But he survived. And Lydia, I have to say, is the first one that introduced me to Loehmann's. And I will be forever grateful.
As the eldest, he is a special one.
Very special.
Especially in the Jewish religion, I respect him very highly.
It's the way you were brought up.
Yeah. One time he went to LaGuardia Field, was it?
I don't know. Some airfield.
Some airfield, and they were having new planes out, and they didn't permit them to take a camera in, but he took a camera in, took pictures, but on his way out they caught him. They took away his camera, confiscated his camera and the pictures, and then he had
old was he?
Oh, I don't remember, Fern, that's so many years back.
When I met Stan in 1952, I was 18 and he was 23, almost 24, and of course he was a much older man to me at that point. And we dated for about a month, and we decided that we couldn't let either of us take each other for granted, so we didn't go out for 1 week, and that was the only week from that point on that we never saw each other. And our first date was in February of '53, and we got married in March of '54. And it's like Even though it's 35 years, it's very hard to believe that so many years have gone by because it's been very fast. My mother used to say to me, the first 25 years are not so fast, and the second go by even faster. And she certainly was right, because here we are at the beginning of a new decade. What's been the highlights? Well, of course, each one of the children are a highlight, but the star is Rachel, because Rachel is the dividend for all the things that we struggled for. That's God's present to us, Rachel. Needless to say, you can see Rachel and stand together and know that what I'm saying is true.
All this time we've been together, every day a new adventure. Time's enough to last forever and a day. Our love was sometimes all we had, through good times and through bad. I loved you all the way. All our days weren't bright and sunny. There were times we had no money. You could always find some funny thing to say. And looking back on where we've been, I'd do it all again. I loved you all the way. I loved you all the way. Every morning, every night, every day. Times I thought I couldn't take it, wondering if we'd ever make it. You could hold me close and make it go away. And though I've said it all before, I never meant it more. I loved you all the way. I loved you all the way.
I think the things I remember about Dad the most were when we lived in New York. When he used to take us to Van Cortlandt Park, the ponies. When he built the model airplane with Jay and we flew it in park and it took a dive. Probably one of my favorite things was the way he used to come home from work and before we go to bed he'd pick us up and dump us into bed. We used to like that. All of us did. And Bess was waiting for him to come home and sneaking under Mom's bed and watching TV while she was sleeping, waiting for him. And then when he got there, having some of the Chinese food he brought home. He still likes Chinese food. I don't think I've ever seen Dad act with a child the way he does with Rachel. I don't think he calls her all the time. They have conversations. He's like a kid. She thinks he's the same genius that I thought he was my whole life.
must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course I know I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I could fly higher than an eagle. For you are the wind beneath my wings. Did I ever tell you you're my hero? You're everything, everything I wish I could be. Oh, night, I can fly higher than an eagle. For you are the wind beneath my wings. For you are the wind beneath my wings.
My memories are very loving person, there, and he never pushed. He never pushed us to be the best at anything. But yet again, the thing I lived by was, if you could honestly say to yourself, you did the best you could, then there was nothing to be ashamed of. But you had to be able to say it to yourself honestly, that you did the best you could, you tried your hardest. But you know, one day he brought me home. I was getting into golf, and just in the office one day he gave me this little golf thing that you dig divots out of the ground with. Well, nothing, 20-cent item. I mean, if you want to go buy one. But the fact that he was somewhere and just picked it up for me, or somebody had it and he took it from me particularly, meant a lot to me. And that was 7 years ago he gave it to me. If I could think of one thing that you need and deserve, it would be a stressless rest of your life, which you're not going to get, but maybe knowing that there's somebody out there that really wishes it for you, it would help you a little bit.
Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have pain. You need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend.
I was, out of all the kids, I was the one, you know, there's always one in every family that drives the parents crazy, and, well, you guessed it, it was me. And I really put him through some very frustrating times growing up, and he really stuck by me. He bestowed a gift in me with patience. I mean, sometimes I just, when I think back of some of the things that I pulled, I don't know why he stuck by me, but he did, and that's just the kind of person that he is. You know, I'm his son, and he loves me, just like he loves everybody else in our family. It's scary sometimes. I mean, especially, you know, putting together this tape that we're doing. I see the old pictures in the movies of him with my mother and on their honeymoon and getting married, and before they got married when he was a teenager growing up with roller skates. I mean, this, you know, it's almost like it's me. And maybe that's why, maybe deep inside I think he always believed in me. He always knew I was going to do it. And I always knew that I was going to do it. I was going to make it, and no matter what it took, but I was going to do it my way. Sometimes he would fight me, and he would tell me that, you know, that's not the way it's done, this is the way it's done, and of course I wouldn't listen to him, and I did what I thought was right. A lot of the times he was right. But there was never a sorry moment. There was never, I told you so. It was always, Alan, you did it the way you had to do it. Whatever you did something right, because, you know, you're doing something with your life. We are very close, and we will remain close for the rest of our lives. And my wish to him is just many, many, many happy years with all of us. And I love you, and thank you.
Child alone and wild, a cabinet maker's son. His hands were meant for different work, and his heart was known to none. He left his home and went his lone and solitary way, and he gave to me a gift I know I never can repay. Quiet man of music, denied a simpler fate. He tried to be a soldier once, but his music wouldn't wait. He earned his love through discipline, a thundering velvet hand. His gentle means of sculpting souls took me years to understand. The leader of the band is tired and his eyes are growing old, but his blood runs through my instrument, and his song is in my soul. My life has been a poor attempt to imitate the man. I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band.
As far as a birthday wish, I would hope that the next 12 years are as fulfilling as the last 12 years in his life, and I just wish him the best.
Stan, I'd like to wish you the happiest birthday. I also want to say that I see a lot of your good qualities in Jay, except we have to work on the handyman part a little bit. Every time we hang a picture, I say, oh, we better call Stan. But happy birthday, and have a great time in Puerto Rico. You're going to love it.
Stanley, I just want to wish you a very, very happy birthday and many more happy birthdays to come.
Happy birthday, Stanley. I just want to tell you that I'm really looking forward to spending a lot of years with you and your family.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair and golden starlight in your eyes of blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Happy birthday, Papa. I love you.